Hey guys, good morning. This is going to be a slightly longer video because I'm going to be reading a passage from one of my favorite books. I'd like to say it's my favorite, but I have like a top 10 of them that are just about at the same level. This one is called, it's probably backwards, but Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland, Russian author. Okay? And this is on page 280, if you have the book yourself. And the passage is called The Wizard Within. And the reason I'm doing this today is because it's my birthday. And this is a passage that has really spoken to me. And I think will really speak to most of you too, because of the very concise wording, okay? Just a little side note before we get started. If you've been involved or interested in personal development, then you may have noticed that after a while, most of that material repeats itself. And at the end of the day, you can condense all of the lessons down to just a few major points, right? Be consistent, don't ever give up, have faith in yourself. You can do anything you want as long as you visualize it and imagine yourself in that position, which are all great. And to an extent, I really agree, and I don't think there's any harm in trying. But the reason I like this book so much is because I feel like it took all of these lessons and put it into words that, again, they're so concise and they describe these ideas so well and they speak to me on such a level that you can't not understand them and you can't not implement them into your own lives, which is the key, right? If you just read a bunch of crap and you don't do anything with it, then you're wasting your time. You really are wasting your time, which is horrible, right? Time is finite. So anyways, let's get started. Hopefully my throat doesn't get too dry here. Let's begin, okay? So, The Wizard Within. Your heart already has everything you need to know to realize your desires. Do you remember the story about the Wizard of Oz? The clever Tin Man dreams of having a brain. The kind Scarecrow longs for a heart. The brave Lion strives to acquire courage, and the girl Ellie wants to feel hope. All the characters already have the things they desire, but if Goodwin the Wizard tells them so, it will seem too implausible to be true, and so he creates a magic ritual instead. In reality, all that was needed was for the Tin Man, Scarecrow, and Lion to give themselves permission to have the qualities they so desired, because they already existed in their soul. For the girl Ellie, the task was a little more complicated. She had to express total will, and the will to have, in order to return home. The magic ritual helped her to strengthen her faith, and then the wind of intention carried her home. As we have already said, not everything that is connected with outer intention fits into the framework of the concepts of the mind. The mind is responsible for this scenario. Pendulums also assisted in the process because freedom and individual control over outer intention would have severely undermined the pendulum's interests. Side note, you need a little background info. A pendulum, as referred to in this book, is the concept of an entity that feeds off of people's negative emotions, and especially shared negative emotions, right? So we could consider the coronavirus to be a pendulum because so many people think about it, and so they're directing this thought energy to this make-believe entity, and so it continues to grow in power. And the people who also deny it and attack it, they actually also contribute to its growth, because it's like they say, there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? Basically, it means that whether it's good or bad, as long as people continue to think about it, that entity grows. So anyways, the pendulum monsters only benefit from people who do not stand out in any way and are content to work for them as a cog in a wheel. The realization of individual potential is a pernicious threat to the pendulum because an individual who is free works for their own development and prosperity. Hence, from childhood, we are instilled with conditioned standards and rules which conveniently mold us into obedient adherence. On the one hand, there is a positive need to teach the individual certain rules that will help them to get along in life, as the people who break these rules become losers or outcasts. On the other hand, social conditioning strongly suppresses a person's unique individuality. And so people generally cannot say what they really want and have no idea of their true capabilities. If you want to suppress a person's ability to master outer intention, it is enough to break the heart's connection with the mind. Throughout the history of humanity, huge efforts have been made to divorce the heart from the mind. The mind has worked constantly to perfect its language of symbols at the same time, becoming ever less practiced in the language of the heart. Pendulums of religion, like pendulums of science, have pulled the mind in different directions, as far as possible from the true nature of the heart. And finally, the development of industrial and information technologies witnessed over recent centuries has dissolved the connection altogether. The influence of pendulums is particularly great at the present time because everyone is now reading books, listening to the radio, watching television, and accessing information via the internet. Humanity has absorbed a huge volume of knowledge and equally as much delusion, which holds just as steadfastly in the psyche. The separation of heart and mind is humanity's greatest loss. The idea that real success, be it in business, science, art, sport, or any other sphere, can only be achieved by a few individuals is widely accepted as the normal state of affairs. Nobody seems to question it or consider it abnormal. There is no point in you and I trying to save humanity. I simply wish to suggest that you, dear pilgrim, ask yourself the following question. Why him or her and not me? What do I have to do to become one of the chosen few? I am no good one the wizard and so cannot create magic rituals for you. I will simply answer the question directly. You already have everything you need. All you have to do is use it. You are capable of anything, it is just that no one has told this yet. You are capable of creating incredible works of art, making unique discoveries, achieving phenomenal results in sport, business, and any other profession. All you have to do is turn to your heart, for the heart has access to all knowledge, as well as the previous achievements of all humanity. You just have not asked your heart yet. All great geniuses of art, science, and business have only succeeded in creating masterpieces because they turned to their hearts. What makes your heart any worse than theirs? Nothing. All masterpieces speak to us in the language of the heart. Whatever you do, your work will only create an impression if it comes from the heart. The mind can build a new house using bricks from a previous model, but no one will be astounded by the new design. The mind can make a perfect copy, but only the heart is capable of an original. All you have to do is accept the axiom that the heart has everything it needs, and then give yourself the joy of making the most of it. It is incredibly simple, and at the same time, totally incomprehensible. And still, you can allow yourself the luxury of having. The will to have depends on you alone. You can do anything. The reader may doubt what I claim to be true, and yet, we rarely experience doubt when we are persuaded that we lack the necessary caliber, ability, and quality, or that we are not as worthy or talented as others. We easily believe the statements that erect high walls on the path to our goals. So do yourself, not me, a favor and embrace the knowing that you are worthy and do deserve the absolute best and are capable of achieving whatever you desire with all your heart. The fact that everyone is worthy of the best and capable of anything is meticulously hidden from us. We are told we are naive and believe we have unlimited capabilities. But the opposite is true. Wake up and shake off the delusion. You can dictate the rules of the game if you consciously exercise your rights. No one can forbid you from trying, but the conventional worldview and pendulums will try to convince you in every way possible that your goal is unattainable. There will be all kinds of reasonable arguments put forward to prove that your capabilities are limited. Ignore these arguments and shield yourself with the unreasonable and frivolous conviction that together your heart and mind are capable of anything. After all, you have nothing to lose. For what have you really achieved living within the framework of those other very reasonable arguments? You only have one life. Is it not time to shake up the pile of commonly held beliefs? What if they turn out to be false and you would never have known? Do it now, otherwise you will not have time to find out whether they are true or not. Life will pass you by. All the possibilities will have been exhausted, and the gifts of this miraculous life given to others. And perhaps indeed they will only be given to a few, but nonetheless they will not come to you. Only you can decide whether you want to fully exercise your rights or not. If you can allow yourself to have something, you will achieve it. Begin by believing in the unlimited possibilities of the heart, and then turning your mind round to face it. False beliefs make this more difficult to do, but the Transurfing model helps to deconstruct many erroneous ideas. One of these beliefs stands as follows: it is hardest of all to overcome the self, or it is hardest of all to battle with the self, or the predatory Russian saying, you have to be able to stand on the throat of your own song. For basically, sacrifice your own desires and act in the interests of others. This is one of humanity's greatest delusions. How can you possibly battle with the amazingly beautiful creature that lives within you? And what would be the point? Negativity does not live within. It lies on the surface, like a layer of dust on the surface of a painting. If you wipe the dust away, a pure heart is revealed underneath. The creature that hides behind many different masks and costumes is imbued with truly wonderful qualities. The task is to allow yourself to be you. Surely the masks you wear are not capable of achieving success, abundance, and happiness. It is futile to try and change yourself because all you do is create another mask. If you remove the masks destructive pendulums force us to wear, you will reveal the treasure that is hidden in your heart. You really do deserve the best because you really are an amazing, unique, special being. Just allow yourself to be so. If you admire the geniuses of the art world, science, or cinema, know that you too can join their ranks. The reason the work of a genius appeals to you so much is because these creative works are born of the heart. What you choose to create will please others just the same, as long as it originates from the uniqueness of your soul. Everything that is ordinary and mediocre is created by the mind. There is nothing unsurpassable about the mind or its creations. You carry a real treasure within you, for the heart is unique. Only the heart can produce an ingenious creation. Make sure the mind allows it to do so. That's the end of the passage. I'd like to read the next one, but I think I'm going to do that in a separate video because it's equally as profound and equally as moving. So keep your eyes out for that, and I'm going to get ready to go to the beach and enjoy my day. Have a good one, guys.